District Attorney Cy Vance has impaneled a second long-term grand jury in the investigation into the Trump Organization. One person familiar with the matter telling NBC News that the grand jury could hear testimony about the valuation of Trump's properties and potential accounting and tax improprieties tied to those properties. The news comes after the first grand jury issued an indictment criminally charging Trump companies and the Trump Organization's chief financial officer, Alan Weisselberg, this past summer. You may recall that. Joining me now to discuss this is former U.S. Attorney and MSNBC legal analyst Barbara McQuade. Barbara is, of course, an expert in criminal law, criminal procedure, and national security law. Barbara, it's great to have you back on the show. What should we make of this second grand jury? Does it tell us anything about where this investigation appears to be heading?
Well, it does and it doesn't. Grand jury investigations are by definition secret, and so we only know little dribs and drabs that get leaked out. And just because a grand jury is investigating doesn't mean charges will be returned. It may be that they'll investigate and determine that there is insufficient evidence or no crime at all. But the fact that they've proceeded to this stage does suggest that the case has taken a serious turn. They begin by looking at documents and records and talking to people. And if and when they think it's reaching a point where they need to call people in to testify, that's when they impanel a grand jury. And so it sounds like they've reached that stage. So I do think this suggests that it is moving into an advanced stage and that the evidence they've obtained so far is serious enough to believe that charges are possible.
The interesting thing about this is the timing of it, Barbara, because this new 6 months jury is actually going to extend beyond District Attorney Cy Vance, who leaves office at the end of this year. Does that have any impact whatsoever? How do you expect the investigation will differ under his successor, Alvin Bragg?
Yeah, it really shouldn't. If you are after the facts and the truth and the law, then it really doesn't matter who is at the helm of the office. As long as that person is an effective manager, then it should continue just as well as it did before. The fact that they're impaneling it now suggests to me that they did learn something, perhaps in the investigation that led to that first indictment, that caused them to believe that there is sufficient evidence to go forward. It does seem unlikely that in the remaining time in Cy Vance's term that he is going to be able to see those charges come to fruition. And certainly any trial would come after he leaves office. And so we'll have a new prosecutor in place, but as long as they're